All right, let's talk about something that is, well, it's just really hard, isn't it? Healing a relationship that's been broken. Today, we're diving into a really powerful way to do that, based on the work of Marshall Rosenberg. It's called nonviolent communication, or NVC for short. And it's all about how to mend those deep hurts without anyone having to give in or compromise their truth.
You know that feeling, right? You have a big fight or a falling out with someone and the bitterness just sinks in. It's like you're stuck with this broken record in your head, replaying what they said, what you said, the unfairness of it all. It is absolutely exhausting, and it can feel like there's just no way out.
But what if there was another way? And I'm not talking about some lukewarm compromise where nobody's really happy. I'm talking about a path to real, genuine reconciliation. One that actually honors the pain on both sides and helps you find a way to connect again, maybe even more deeply than before.
So, to figure out how to get out of this trap, we've got to understand why we get so stuck in the first place. Let's start by looking at the problem itself, the pain between us.
Okay, so here's the first idea that might kind of flip what you've been told. We usually think that to get closure, we have to tell our story. Lay out all the evidence, prove our case for why we were hurt. But Rosenberg says, watch out. Doing that often just makes us relive the pain. It's like pouring salt in the wound over and over, and it can actually keep us from healing.
And this quote just nails the dilemma, doesn't it? It's from someone in one of Rosenberg's workshops. You feel like if you go back into that relationship, you're just going to get hurt again. But cutting them out completely, that feels wrong too. Like there's this hole in your life. You're completely stuck between a rock and a hard place.
So if retelling the story is a dead end, what's the alternative? Well, the answer requires a pretty radical shift in how we think. It's a whole new way of looking at conflict that moves us completely beyond blame.
And this right here, this is the absolute heart of nonviolent communication. The big idea is that the emotional pain you feel isn't caused by what the other person did. That was just the trigger. The pain, according to Rosenberg, actually comes from a deep, universal human need inside of you that isn't being met. So, if a friend cancels plans, the sting you feel isn't just about the canceled dinner. It might be coming from your unmet need for consideration or reliability or connection.
So think about it this way. Your feelings aren't the problem, they're actually the solution. They're like a compass inside you. That flash of anger when you feel unheard, that's your compass needle pointing straight at your need for respect. That deep ache of loneliness, it's pointing to your need for belonging. Your feelings are just messengers trying to tell you what's truly important to you.
And the only way we can hear what that compass is telling us, both in ourselves and in other people, is to offer what the philosopher Martin Buber called presence. This isn't about having the right answers or saying the perfect thing. It's just about showing up, being there, with your full undivided attention. That simple act is the foundation for everything.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually do this stuff? Well, the amazing thing about NBC is that it isn't just a philosophy. It gives us a concrete, step-by-step process, a real, practical path to healing.
First things first, we've got to understand our main tool, which is empathy. And it is so important to know that empathy is not the same as sympathy. Sympathy is when you say, "Oh, I feel so bad for you." Notice the focus is on your feelings about their pain. Empathy is about being fully present with them in their world, feeling what they're feeling. One creates connection, the other can actually create distance.
Now, Rosenberg has this phrase that sounds, well, a little shocking at first. He talks about learning to enjoy another person's pain. But hang on, he doesn't mean you get a kick out of their suffering. No way. What he means is enjoying the incredibly precious, beautiful human connection that's possible when you are willing to just sit with someone in their pain without trying to fix it or run away. That is a gift. So how does this all work? Rosenberg breaks it down into 3 really clear steps. Step 1, give empathy first. This means you just listen. You listen with your whole being for their feelings and their needs until they feel totally, completely heard. Step 2, mourn your part. This is where you get to express your own sadness that your actions didn't meet your own need to contribute to their well-being. And finally, step 3, understand theirs. Only after the other person feels heard can they have the space to hear what was going on for you.
And that second step, mourning, is really, really different from just saying, "I'm sorry." An apology often comes from a place of judgment, like, "I was wrong, you were right," and that can lead to shame and guilt. Mourning in NVC comes from connecting with your own unmet needs, like your need to be a caring person. The feeling isn't shame, it's a deep sadness that actually creates connection, not more distance.
So what does this actually sound like? Well, here's a perfect example. This is a line from a role play where Rosenberg is showing what empathy looks like. Listen to what he's doing. He isn't agreeing or disagreeing. He's not making excuses. He is just simply reflecting back the other person's pain and their need for understanding. He's showing them, I see you. I hear you.
So when you start putting all these pieces together, you get to a place that's not really about a technique anymore. It's a whole new field, a new place to meet another human being.
The poet Rumi captured this idea so beautifully centuries ago. The entire point of this process is to get out of the courtroom, to stop trying to figure out who was right and who was wrong. NVC invites us to meet in a totally different space, a field where that kind of judgment just doesn't exist.
Because at the end of the day, that's the whole point. The goal isn't to be a judge and jury. It's about restoring connection. It's about looking past the angry words or the hurtful actions and seeing the vulnerable universal human needs that were driving that behavior all along.
And when you can do that, everything changes. A painful conflict stops being this zero-sum battle that has to be won or lost. Instead, it becomes this amazing opportunity, a chance to understand each other more honestly and to build a connection that's actually stronger and more real than it ever was before.
So, as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with this question. Think about a relationship in your own life that feels painful or stuck. What might change? What could really happen if you just decided to stop focusing on who's the blame and instead just got really curious about the unmet needs, both theirs and yours?